I'm not sure just where we're at right now, but I, the summer that I was pregnant with Annette, Daddy was in Chicago again, still working on that, finishing up on the doctorate. And I don't think I told about the incident where it was a hot summer day and he came, he was ready to go home, but he stopped in the bathroom. And when he came to leave, somebody came in the bathroom and hit him.
Wow.
In the head and just kind of knocked him backwards. And he was stunned. But he left and he went and got in the car and started to drive. And he got to a stop sign, and when it was time to go, he didn't move. He just sat there. And all of a sudden, a policeman came up next to him and realized that Daddy had been knocked out. He was stunned. And they had to take him in the squad car and bring him to the hospital because they knew something was definitely wrong. And somehow or other, he came to, and why they ever let him drive home, I don't know, but they did. And he had to promise to come back to the hospital. And he came back with Mom and Mutti. And he had to be there for a few days because he just kind of lost his memory and everything. And here I was home pregnant with Annette. And finally he recovered enough so he was able to come home. And he was okay. He was able to go back to teaching in the fall too, but that was a pretty scary time. And I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, I guess then Annette was born that's September 2nd. And
So what was it like to live on Manitou Street?
And of course, Manitou Street was a great place to be because you had so many playmates. You kids had all sorts of. The Rasmussen family across the street had 7 kids, and the Fosses next door to us had 3, and there were kids all up and down the block. So everybody had kids to play with, and that really was a wonderful way for you to grow up. And years later, when you Carl went off to Europe after you were through college, you were amazed to find the kids that you were meeting with, not all of them had grown up on a Manitou Street, where everybody in the neighborhood kind of watched over you. So if you misbehaved or something, you were brought up short by one of the neighbors. And if you needed help with something, you knew you could go to a neighbor if your mother wasn't home at the time. And you just assumed that everybody grew up that way, and you found out that was not true. So you knew how lucky you had been, because it was a good place to be. But but I'm not just. Yeah, turn it off for a minute.